The goal of this presentation is to identify the basic beliefs of Judaism and determine the impact of Judaism on the lives of the people. Let's get started. Religion really was the foundation of Jewish society. Much of Jewish culture was based directly on Jewish beliefs, and there were four central beliefs: belief in one God, belief in education, belief in justice, and belief in obedience. We're first going to talk about belief in one God. The belief in one God was the most important belief, and it was belief in only one God. That, of course, is called monotheism, and Judaism is believed to be, by historians, the world's oldest monotheistic religion. Now, you may be wondering why, for the title of the slide, I wrote 1 space capital G underscore D. That is because the Hebrew name for God is often not pronounced or written out by Jews, as it is considered too holy. So, oftentimes it is represented as I did in the slide title. Let's take a look at the next belief: education. Belief in education was really important as well. And when we're talking about education, we're actually talking about teaching children the basics of Judaism. In ancient times, only older boys were actually allowed to continue to study Judaism with special teachers. Unfortunately, the girls weren't allowed. The next belief is belief in justice and righteousness. In this case, justice really refers to kindness and fairness in dealing with other people. According to Jewish belief, everyone deserves justice, even strangers and criminals. Jews are expected to give aid to those who need it, including the poor, the sick, and orphans. They're also expected to be fair in business dealings. Along with justice is their belief in righteousness. To Jews, righteousness often refers to doing what is right or proper. Jews are supposed to behave properly even if others around them do not, and we know how difficult that can be. Belief in righteousness is so important that doing what is right and doing what is proper was considered more important than any formal ceremonies that were a part of the religion. The next belief is obedience and the law. Jews believed that God gave them laws to follow. Those laws fell into two categories: moral laws, which are laws about right and wrong behavior, and religious laws, which are laws that are specifically related to the practice of Judaism. Throughout their history, they've followed these laws and continue to do so today. Once again, the really important thing to remember here is that they believe these laws were given them by God. They were not created by the Jews themselves, which is why these laws are so important. Speaking of laws, let's talk about the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are the most important Jewish laws. The Hebrew Bible says that on a mountain called Sinai, God gave Moses 2 stone tablets on which were written a code of moral laws. By accepting the 10 Commandments, the Hebrews agreed to worship only God, and God agreed to make them his chosen people. This agreement is known as the covenant. At the same time, they also agreed to value human life, self-control, and justice. The 10 Commandments aren't the only important laws that Jews follow. Let's take a look at another set. Besides the 10 Commandments, Moses also recorded a different system of laws from God. Named for Moses, they are called Mosaic Law. Like the 10 Commandments, Mosaic laws guide many areas of Jews' daily lives. We're going to look at a couple of examples so you understand what I mean. The first example actually has to do with when Jews can or cannot work. There are laws that forbade Jews to work on holidays or on the Sabbath day, which is the 7th day of each week. It's important to remember that the Sabbath day for Judaism is actually starting on Friday at sunset and goes into Saturday. Another law stated that Jews could not eat pork or shellfish because they were thought to be unclean. There are also other laws or rules in the Mosaic laws about other foods Jews can or cannot eat, and also even rules about how food must be prepared. Now, how do we know about all of these laws that were given to Moses by God? Well, the answer to that question is the Torah. The laws and principles of Judaism are described in several sacred or holy texts, the most sacred of which is the Torah. The Torah is actually made up of 5 books, and in addition to the laws which we've already heard about, it also includes a history of the Jews until the death of Moses. Readings from the Torah are still a central part to Jewish religious services today. Thanks a lot for paying attention, and I'll see you in class.